I'm going to show you how I built my inner deck. So I'm going to go to Shogun Yard. So in a deck like this, I like to go over what the commander does, analyze what the commander does, and analyze every way I can support that. So it says sacrifice another creature, create a blood token. If you sacrifice an angel, create a number of blood tokens equal to toughness. So that essentially means we're just going to run a bunch of angels. And then on top of the angels, I can run like death triggers for the angels. And then we gotta pay attention to second line of text. Sacrifice 6 blood tokens, return each creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Finality counter on it. So that means that we're gonna want to load our graveyard, because the more we put in our graveyard, the more that's gonna get returned. And then since the finality counters are counters, we have things like Solemnity that remove counters. So on top of that, we have support and staples like Campbell. It's a staple here, staple there. Just throw on the staples amongst the deck. Definitely have some removal. About 4 to 5 bits removal. I would recommend more like 6. And then we always want to have forms of card draw. There's not much card draw on this deck because it all just puts it in the graveyard, which is fine. On top of that, we can have things that put stuff in the graveyard but also allow you to grab them. This one, you can grab cards out of your graveyard if they're going to do this. It's pretty good. So, since we're creating tokens, we can run things that help you double tokens. It's going to be a pretty niche effect, but it works. So I'm going to show you another example. Here I have Malik. So on Malik we have ETB triggers. When I choose a battlefield, you want to choose a creature that player controls. The choices are sacrificed. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a creature, you can get a shush token. So I'm going to mainly run death triggers. So I'm going to want to sacrifice a bunch of creatures. So I have things like Blood Artist, work with bats, for creating tokens, and then I have some sacrifice just to help me sacrifice cards. On top of that, I have like more death triggers. Since it can't all be death triggers, I have things that also indirectly do what my commander does. I have Tergrid. I have Kalatas. Kalatas essentially creates me tokens when my commander does things. Then on top of that, I can use abilities like Blasphemous Edict to create multiple treasure tokens when people, or make people sacrifice their boards to create me multiple treasure tokens and profit off in the end. So this is essentially all support. So I have my 25 cards of support here. I have around a couple, alright, around a couple removal spells. I have around 9 artifacts, but only like 7 of them are mana rocks. And then, yeah, and the rest of it's just filler, because since he has an ETB ability, I can use blink spells to re-trigger his ETB ability. So I have multiple blink spells that are able to help me re-trigger it. Yeah, so what I would recommend for most decks is around 35 lands. I know you don't see them in this picture, but I just didn't add them yet. And about 35 lands. And then around 7 or more artifacts, depending on your commander's mana cost. I'd say the baseline is 7 mana rocks, and then you raise the amount of mana rocks for each color your commander has. If I go back to show me guard, I'll show you. Like, I have the Mesmer, I have the Mind Stone, the Shard of Broken Glass. That's not a... I have multiple mana rocks in here. Caesar's Ring, Soul Ring, Skyclave, Mind Stone. The more mana cost your commander is, the more mana rocks you should have. Therefore, you can play your commander efficiently. So the baseline is 7, and when you get above like 4 mana for your commander, I'd start playing like 10. And then I'd have around 5 or 6 removal spells, unless your commander is just removal. If your commander removes stuff, then that's good. But if you have, I have like 3 removal that can remove anything, like any permanent on the board, or enchantment, artifact, creature, non-land permanents, and then 3 that just target creatures, so around about 6 just overall, and then 35 lands, around 7 artifacts, 6 removal spells, around 7 card draw spells, and the rest is just support. I'd say for direct support, you'd want to get like as much as you can. And if you can't find much, that's when you start filling in the niches. So like the niche of the ETB ability, and we are filling in the niche here with the blinks. Like I can show you another deck, like all support. And then we can just fill in the niche of his second ability that allows me to sacrifice artifacts and deal damage to given mana value. So I filled in some other artifacts over here. I have a lot of artifacts in this deck. But, I mean, I just have a lot of decks that support niche effects. So, to explain it in a better way, there's always a strategy. And the strategy is to have main support, like Pantlaws and all these dinosaurs, but have backup support and niche strategies if you need it. Like, to hone this onto one thing, because I don't want to keep flying all over the place, we have this. Say our main strategy is to get a bunch of death triggers and play things like this and things like this. But if we get a hand that's just blink spells, I wouldn't mind keeping it because I can just keep re-triggering Malik. So that's how I built my decks. I just have multiple strategies using niche cards and niche roles, which help me play the game better because I don't have to rely on a certain hand. Go off of any hand I have because I can use niche strategies to play the hand. Like, unless it's small amounts of land. Like in every hand that I get in this game, I have an out. That's how I like to build my decks. Like, evolve into the niche strategies so you can use them if they are needed. They do not directly have to be used, but they are there if you need them. Like, do you have one last example before I sign off? I have Angel of Suffering in this deck. And since I have Angel of Suffering in the deck, I implemented a niche strategy where I have Blightsteel and Darksteel Colossus, which shuffle themselves back in when they hit the graveyard. So if I have Suffering Angel out, damage would be out, then we mill that many cards, twice that many cards. Since these two cards shuffle themselves back in, I can never essentially mill myself out. Therefore, I cannot die to damage, and it will instead mill my whole library. Now, the strategy isn't exactly needed, but it's there if I want it. Like, it's not going to be my main strategy, but it's good to consider. But yeah, that's kind of it. For those of you that need help that are in the Magic community, you can talk to me and text me. Yeah.